students, we have seen the example of a static routing in the day. So here I will again show that topology, that what we want. So you can see I have made a boundary between three different network. It is a 10 network, it is a 20 network, and it is 30 network, because this network want to communicate with this network, and the interface between these two network is this 30 network. So obviously we have to use the two different routers, because network to network communication will be go through, and this is the example of static routing. So you can think about that. Here I written that it is a network with a class A IP address with having the network ID as a 10.0.0.0 with a subnet mask of this one. So obviously the IP address will be start. I written that the IP address is just 10.0.0.10.8, and another PC will be having 10.0.0.20.8, and this router interface, because it is a part of this 10 network, so this router interface will be having the we can read the name of this router interface as a fast Ethernet 0/0. So obviously the IP address of this one will be 10.0.0.30 something. Okay, so the configuration that I have shown on that day, that when you want to configure any PC, you go to this desktop option and go to the IP configuration, and here IP configuration you can give the IP to this PC 0, and this IP will be 10.0.0.10, and the subnet mask will be default subnet mask for class A. Obviously the question will be rise why we are giving the default gateway, because if this PC want to send the packet to this router or want to receive the packet from this router, only the gateway that is available is the interface of this router. So here we will give the IP address of this router as a default gateway. Okay, so you can think about that. How we have given the IP address is static IP address, and we can think about that the same thing that I made for this PC also. We can go to the desktop option, and similarly we can say we have given the 10.0.20, because this PC and this PC should have different IP address, and this is 255.0.0, and again the same default gateway IP we will give of this router. So this is the default gateway router. Okay, so same thing we will do for this 20 network. We will assign the IP address to this PC2 like this. We will go to the desktop option, and we can think about that the same thing that I written here, that 20.0.0.10 to 55 will be the subnet mask, and then this is the default gateway, because we this interface will be having the different IT, because you can think about that. Here this is the 10th network, okay, and this is the 20th network. So obviously this interface is a part of this network. So the IP address for this one is 20.0.0.30. okay, and here for this PC, this interface will act like a gateway. Okay, so here we have given the IP address. Similarly, you can configure the IP address to this one also. You can go to the desktop and check the setting for this one. So here 20.0.0.20, and same default gateway we will assign. The important thing is that whenever we are doing the configuration for this router, you can see this router, we have taken the router as a 2811. So this router will be having the two different interfaces, fast Ethernet 0/0 and fast Ethernet 0/1, and similarly this router will be having the two interfaces, fast Ethernet 0/0 and fast Ethernet 0/1. So during the configuration, I told you there are two different ways. You can just configure it by clicking it. You can just try for this config mode, and then you can just give the interface to this fast Ethernet 0/0. You can give the IP address like this one.
The equivalent iOS commands are router, enable router, configure terminal, enter configuration commands, one per line, end with CNTLZ, router, config, interface fast Ethernet 0/0 router, config if.
Okay, sorry for disturbance. 10.0.0.30 for this interface, and 255.255.0.0. And here it is very important that we should on this port. Okay, so like this we can do.
The equivalent iOS commands are exit router config, interface fast Ethernet 0/1 router config if.
So we can think about that when we give the IP address to this 30 network. So this will be 30.0. Because we have to give the IP address to this router like this fast Ethernet 0/1, because you can think about that here the two different ports will be there. The one port is fast Ethernet 0/1 and another router will be having the name as a fast Ethernet 0/1. So if it is a 30 network, so obviously the 30.0.0.10 will be the IP address of this interface, and 30.0.0.20 will be the IP address of this interface. So you can just assign the IP address by clicking here on fast Ethernet 0/1, and you can just give the IP address like that we have given here. Just for this router on fast Ethernet 0/1 we have given the 30.0.10.8, where the 8 is representing this subnet mask, 255.0.0.0, okay, because it is a CIDR representation. And for this router we can think here we can come to this router, and if we want to configure this router fast Ethernet 0/1.
The equivalent iOS commands are router, enable router, router configure terminal, enter configuration commands, one per line, end with CNTLZ, router config, interface fast Ethernet 0/1, router config if.
Okay. So this interface, you can go here, fast Ethernet 0.
The equivalent iOS commands are exit router config, interface fast Ethernet 0/1, router config if.
So you can think about that. Here, the command will be like this. Fast Ethernet 0/1. You can just go to the command line if you want to go interface fast Ethernet 0/1, and you can give the IP address to this one also. And an important thing is that the port status should be on. Okay. Now here we can think about that we have to configure this routing, because here if we are not configure the routing, this network will not able to communicate with this network will not able to communicate with this network. So important thing is that you should give the static routing. So static routing says that you go to the static routing portion. Before this you should understand what is the meaning of this, because you can think about that on that day I told you there are two different type of networks. So for if this network want to send the packet to this network, it will be called as a source network, and this will be the destination network. So during the static configuration, the ID of network, the network ID of destination network is very important. So here we can say, here I return this this network ID here 20.0.0.0, because network ID is somewhat different than IP address. So you can think about that. This is my source network and this is my destination network. So I will configure my static routing like this one. Like I will go to the static.
The equivalent iOS commands are router config.
You can think about that. Here I am typing the command just like 20.0.0.0, and here we will give the subnet mask of that network, and this packet will be go for this 20 network. This packet will be go through this interface. So here we will write down 30.0.0.20. Okay, and simply when we click add, this route will be added here already added, so I am not clicking this, but before this you should do add, so automatically this route will be configured. So similar thing we will do for this type of network also. So in case of this, if this network want to send the packets to this network, so this network will act like a source network and this will be destination network. So this here to configure the static route. So for example, when you are doing the static routing,
the equivalent iOS commands are router config.
So static routing will be like this. So we can say here destination ID on this one will be 10.0.0.20. No, so for this is network ID, and then we will give 255.0.0.0, and you can think about that this network will send the packet to this network via this interface 30.0.0.10. So you can give 30.0.0.10. Okay, and simply click here add. This command will be appear, this box will be appear automatically when we click add. Okay, so if you want to check the status of this network, okay, whether it is working or not, you simply click on this PDU. You just click this PDU from this 10 network and just click on the destination. You can think about that this packet is coming successfully. If it is coming failed, you just can try it for 2 3, because it will take some time to converge with the network. So in this case, what will happen, this will take some time. So you just try this static routing, and if you are having some problem, you can write down on the WhatsApp group.